Welcome to the innovative world of Tracker. Since our business was founded in 1995, we have been at the forefront of key and equipment management technology. In 2012, Tracker became part of the ASSA ABLOY Group, the world leader in door opening solutions. Every industry and almost any business can benefit from the intelligent power of Tracker technology. We help all types of organizations to reduce theft, secure facilities, minimize accidents, monitor and improve critical operational processes, and manage critical business assets. The Tracker proposition is significantly greater than the sum of its parts. It is a highly configurable range of products and services backed by an exceptional global partner network. We enable organizations to overcome the major challenges they face every single day and deliver big benefits right on the bottom line. Tracker keeps you in control. The evolution of Tracker's core technologies has led to thousands of solutions for our customers across a wide range of industries. They all have particular requirements, but one flexible solution handles them all: Tracker technology. Our first systems were developed in the 1990s to help British Airways at Heathrow and Gatwick manage access to keys for ground support vehicles, reducing costs and improving efficiency. Our latest systems are still being utilised there today. The potential for this type of application was considerable, and by 2004, the idea had evolved into the ingenious iFob. Beyond simply restricting access to secure cabinets, the iFob can audit the usage of a set of keys or an asset. Today, this system is used incredibly effectively to restrict access to those authorised and trained to operate forklift trucks, racks in data centres, bank vaults, and to track cash in transit. As Tracker developed, it introduced a range of intelligent locker systems. Our lockers are used everywhere from offices and schools to government facilities, preventing the misuse and theft of valuable assets such as tablets, laptops, security radios, and even weapons. Why have a locker when you can have an intelligent locker? Our latest generation of systems features a technology platform that we call Tracker Touch. The Tracker Touch interface provides users with an intuitive set of management and reporting tools right at the cabinet. A Tracker Touch system can function completely standalone or as part of an enterprise network solution managed by Tracker Web, our latest and most sophisticated network administration platform, capable of controlling access to your critical keys and equipment globally. Tracker's powerful web-based software administration tool, Tracker Web, provides a full suite of reports and provides you with completely centralized control over your systems anytime, anywhere. It can be monitored and maintained from your phone, tablet, computer, or laptop. Tracker has built its user interface around the web and touch devices as the two technologies that have become second nature in our daily lives, guaranteeing users the most intuitive experience in using our systems. The beauty of the Tracker system lies in its functional simplicity. Don't be fooled though, as it's anything but simple. Systems can be configured to integrate seamlessly with existing third-party access control systems. Tracker allows users to continue administering permissions and to see alarm events inside their existing platform. In conjunction with access control, the intelligent technology behind Tracker is perfect for high-security applications. For example, Tracker can prevent individuals from going off-site if they have a set of keys or controlled device. Where procedures are in place to ensure compliance with health and safety, the consequences of not adhering to them can be serious and far-reaching. Tracker's patented system completely overcomes this problem by eliminating human error and forcing every procedure step to be followed. It can even record detailed usage and event data out in the field for provenance of compliance. Thanks to Tracker, keys have never been smarter. Tracker's solutions have grown extensively to meet the needs of its customers, and it continues to grow as we work with new organizations facing new challenges around the world. What all solutions have in common is that they provide to businesses essential core benefits. Accountability. With complete control and an audit trail of who has access to items, plus notifications and restrictions on unauthorized use, Tracker improves accountability and improves workforce attitudes. Productivity. Reduces time wasted by workers looking for keys and equipment, taking equipment that isn't charged, and waiting for authorization. Tracker ensures they always follow the best and most efficient procedures. Improved safety and accident prevention. Ensures key processes are adhered to so that workers are safe and assets are protected, reducing risk and liability. Cost savings. aggregates significant savings from controlled and enforced procedures, helps to avoid loss through theft or damage, and lowers investment costs through controlled and shared usage for rapid return on investment. Enhanced security. With controlled access to the right keys and assets at the right time, management has complete control and visibility of events. Together with our partners, we support and service our customers throughout the world. Whenever we are providing support, we know that everyone has their own specific focus, and we try to make sure we understand all of those needs so that we can provide them with the best possible service.
The tracker system has made a massive difference to the drugs dispensing process on the wards.
It's simple and effective, and gives us all peace of mind that our operators are safe and we're complying with the health and safety standards that we are dedicated to upholding.
Tracker USA has shown outstanding professionalism, been extremely knowledgeable, and provided great customer service since day one of the Marine Forces Reserve project.
Tracker's flexibility and customized solution gave us exactly what we needed. They delivered as promised.
A true testament to Tracker's success has been our significant growth. From its inception, the Tracker concept was so strong, it was quick to win the interest of many major clients and support expansion into overseas territories. We now, together with our partners, serve customers from over 40 countries, including many multinational organizations. As part of ASSA ABLOY, the global leader in door opening solutions, Tracker has developed and expanded into new markets, becoming the global market leader.
Tracker's mission is to help clients to effectively manage their keys and assets and take real control of their processes. At heart, we're a technology business that's constantly evolving. Our developing platform is always expanding and improving, widening its capabilities to meet growing customer requirements, while adhering to the latest technical compliance and security standards. We know our clients rely on the process control we provide, and thankfully our staff have immense pride in what we deliver to our customers around the world. Tracker's greatest asset will always be its people. So whether it's the local service that our customers need, or a global partner they can rely on, we know that Tracker is a professional choice.